You're watching Rurouni K95's anime review on the Skycrawlers. Hi Ruronis, this is your pal Rurouni K95 here, and we get to cover an anime movie directed by Mamoru Oshii once again for today's anime review is The Skycrawlers. The Skycrawlers is a 2008 Japanese anime war film directed by Mamoru Oshii and is an adaptation of Hiroshi Mori's novel of the same name. It was released across Japanese theaters by Warner Bros. Japan on August the 2nd, 2008. Animated by Production IG, the film was written by Chihiro Ito, featuring character designs by Tetsuya Nisho and music by Kenji Kawai. So let's review this anime. Let's begin here. The Skycrawlers is set in an alternative universe history timeline where, although the world is at peace, in order to ease the attention of the populace accustomed to war and aggression, private corporations contract fighters, pilots to engage in actual combat operations against each other. The film introduces a mystery involving characters called Kildren, kill dolls humanoids, genetically engineered in a way that enables them to live eternally in adolescence as well. Yep. After the death of three pilots of the Rostock Corporation at the hands of J2 Skyline, piloted by Lord-turned pilot ace pilot teacher Yuichi Kanami, is reassigned to Area 262. After meeting with the chief mechanic Tawa Sasakura, he inquires as to the fate of the predecessor who left the Sanka MKB pusher prop assigned to him in pristine condition prior to his disappearance. Kanami is told to ask the base's CEO, Suito Kusanagi, who quickly dismisses him after informing him of a sortie that is to take place the following day. Shortly afterward, he meets the rest of the base's pilot team corps, Aizo Yudagawa, Ryuki Shinota, and Naofumi Tokino. Yep. After observing Yudagawa folding a newspaper in a certain way, Kanami learns that the fifth pilot in Area 262 is Kusanagi as well. Yep. Tokino and Kanami embark upon a reconnaissance mission. The following day is interrupted by the three enemy fighters from the Lawturn Corporation. The three pilots are quickly dispatched, and the duo return to the base without incident. Once again, Kanami requires to the fate of his predecessor, Kurita Jinro, while questioning if Kusanagi is a Kildren as well, less than willing to reveal the details of Jinro's absence as well as the information about her own nature. Kusanagi ignores Kanami's questions by dismissing him as well. Later that evening, Tokino and Kanami visit Danielle's diner, where they are met shortly afterward by Kusumi and Fuko, the latter of which Kanami had sex with. Fuko informs Kanami of the relationship that she had with Jinro, while acknowledging that Kanami's existence must mean that Jinro is no longer alive. Returning from already early due to an oil leak, Kanami meets Mizuki Kusanagi, who introduces herself as Suito's sister, as well, who inquires to the nature of Kildren as well. Yep. Tokino returned later, reveals that Mizuki is not Suito's younger sister, but rather Suito's daughter. Discussing the matter with Suito, she wonders what will happen when Mizuki reaches Suito's age, revealing that Suito is indeed a Kildren. Speaking with Yudagawa later, he reveals that Kusanagi is always armed, and she was the one who apparently shot Jinro. A sponsor tour of the base is interrupted by the drowning of Rostock Sanka MKB from the neighboring area. Arriving on the scene, Kusanagi berates a group of civilian officers for pitting the killed pilot before leaving the scene. When Kanami visits the diner again. His leave is cut short by the arrival of the Lawturn heavy bombers as well. Able to warn the base of the arriving bombers, Kusanagi sorties the pilots. Tanking Kanami's plane is in absence. That the two visit a theater command where they are met with an officer trying to bar them from meeting with Kusanagi's superior as well. The two later visit an isolated lodge, which according to Kusanagi, no one visits twice. Kanami asks Kusanagi if the Yutagawa story of Kusanagi killing Jinro is true, to which Kusanagi asks if Konami wants to be killed as well. During a later sortie, Yutagawa and Konami spot several Lartern bombers when the fighter escorts rushing ahead to engage the enemy alone. Yutagawa is shot down by J2 Skyline with a black Jaguar painted on the side. The insignia of the Lartern ace known as the Teacher discussing the matter with Tokino and Yuri. Konami hears the rumor that the Teacher is not a children but a normal adult. Kusanagi orders all the remaining pilots sortie to hunt down the Teacher, taking Konami's plane personally. Later, Tokino and Yuri return without Kusanagi, who rushed off alone. After spotting the Teacher, Konami's crashed Sanka is later found by Fuko, and the injured Kusanagi is brought back to the base for treatment. Fuko reveals that Kusanagi has once visited one of her clients and had sex with him as you guessed it, in the Skycrawlers. Konami asks Sakura about Mizuki, but is always unwilling to part with the information easily. The pilots are called March Hare, based in preparation for the major Rostock operation against one of Lartern's major bases. Tokino and Konami meet with Midori Mitsuya, March Hare's ace pilot, who seeks out Konami, having heard about his reputation. The pilots are briefed on the large operation and are placed in the escort for the 50 bombers. The collective pilot sortie, March Hare's twin-engined heavy fighters pool together with the 262's Sanka Bs. The operation commences with Rostock fighters refueling in the midair. The pilots engage Lartern's fighter, but despite their best efforts, the Rostock forces lose several of their heavy bombers. The fighters are ordered to retreat and return to base Alibi without Yuri. 262 Squadron is reinforced by March Hare's remaining pilots and their machines, Midori among them. During a debriefing session, Midori reports on the loss of the two March Hare's pilots, describing the Teacher's aircraft in the exact same way the Teacher shot them down at point-blank range as well. Later that evening, Tokino, Konami, and Kusanagi go bowling together. After Tokino leaves, Konami and asks Kusanagi about the day when she was shot down and inquires to her relation to the Teacher. Kusanagi reveals that the Teacher was not only once a member of Rostock, but her former superior officer. Kusanagi complains the nature of war and how the preparational existence of war mandates an undefeatable enemy, which exists in the form of the Teacher. Later, a heavily introduced intoxicated Kusanagi puts a gun to Konami's head before asking him to kill her. At least nothing changed for him as well. The pilots return to 262's base with the new March Hare additions. Midori acquires Mizuki, while Konami encounters a new pilot, Aihara, who is a dead ringer from the late Yutagawa, right down to folding his newspaper in the same fashion. The base personnel settle to their familiar routines, while Midori begins to search for answers about Kusanagi. Sasakura reveals that Kusanagi is such a skilled pilot, was one of the few children who survived long enough to question their existence, while Midori expresses her lack of understanding how the base personnel can be so complacent with their state of affairs as well. Midori visits Konami, questioning Konami's memories, and now he copes with his life, theorizing that Konami copes by blurring his memories with the present, falling into an endless repetition of now. Midori reveals the nature of children's conception. They are accidental byproduct of Rostock's experiments with genetics. And as a result, they do not age and cannot die unless killed. Midori suffers a nervous breakdown, questioning her memories. Her own memories, wondering if she is too a children, and crying about how she cannot recall of anything of her childhood, questioning if she ever had one. She continues revealing her conclusions. Kusanagi shot Jiro to end the perpetual repetition of the life of a children, but he didn't die. He simply became Konami, implanted with the new memories to maintain his skills as a pilot at this point. Yep. So later that evening, Midori tries to shoot Kusanagi. Konami intervenes and aiming at the sound of Midori's gunshot proposes that he shoot Kusanagi, which appears to her as a fine idea. As Konami disarms Midori, she leaves, revealing that Kusanagi had Midori under her own gun at the whole time. Kusanagi admits to killing Jiro Inro as one on his own request before asking Konami to shoot her in turn. Konami refuses to shoot Kusanagi, insisting that she must continue to live until she can change things. The pilots leave on the sortie, the flying patrol. Konami complains on how one can find a new experiences even if one has traveled the same path before and regains his memories as Jinro. Midori cites that teachers J2 Skyline and Konami engages the Artern Ace alone, resolving to kill his father. After a brief dogfight, the teacher executes his unique maneuver against Konami's Sanka B, and Konami is killed in action one by one. The base personnel accept that Konami is not coming back as well. Isamu Hiragi, Konami's replacement, arrives at 262. His face is not seen, but his physical mannerisms exiting his plane are identical to Konami's, as is lighting a cigarette. At the tone of his voice, as Sakura as looks on impressively from the hangar. If she not seen the scene play out many times before, the viewer is given a final strong hint that the children may be all clones. Hiragi is greeted by Kusanagi in a much more warmer fashion by telling him that she has been waiting for him to arrive, as you noticed, if you will. So that's my review on the Skycrawlers. I mean, the Skycrawlers was distributed in Japan by Warner Brothers Japan. It was subsequently distributed internationally by Sony Pictures, who initially announced their plans on the film's North American premiere at the 2008 Toronto International Film Festival. They consequently sent this film as their entry for Best Animated Feature at the 81st Academy Awards as well. The American release of the film differs from the Japanese release in that the song used during the end credits of the Japanese version, Konya mo Hoshi ni Dakarate by Ayaka, is not used in the American release at this point, as it was in the Japanese version as well for this particular anime movie. This movie was probably one of the more recent movies directed by Mamoru Oshii with this particular anime is. I mean, the 3D CG animation for the movie was produced by Polygon Picture Studio, who also produced the 3D CG for Mamoru Oshii's previous film, Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, even though I've already looked back on my previous anime review on Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, which it all has got to me as well, I guess. The film was an official selection at the 65th Vinci International Film Festival, where it won the Future Film Festival Digital Award at the 2008 Toronto International Film Festival. Later, the film completed officially at the Framed Stages Catalan International Film Festival, where it won 3 separate awards: the Jose Luis Guarner Critic Award, Best Original Soundtrack for Kenji Kawai, and given by the Carnet of Jury for the Best Motion Picture for a Youth Audience. The film was also in the official section at the Helsinki International Film Festival and the Stockholm International Film Festival. The International Press Academy nominated for the Best Motion Picture. It won Best Animation at the 63rd Medici Film Awards as well. It received 80% approval rating by Rotten Tomatoes, as well as 10 reviews with average score as well. Anime News Network gave the film a B+. Besides, because my anime review on the Skycrawlers is getting a lot way better than my movie review on Double Jeopardy, which has got to me, I guess. So that's going to be it for my anime review on the Skycrawlers for today's anime review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's my thoughts on the Skycrawlers. When I first watched the Skycrawlers, I mean, it's been a while since I watched this movie, because I didn't know how they use CG animation in this particular anime movie. I mean, this is probably one of Mamoru Oshii's recent anime movies he directed as well. I mean, because being a fan of Mamoru Oshii, this is one of his infamous works, in my opinion, I guess. Just like how he reviewed Urusei Yatsura, Beautiful Dreamer, which it all has got to be. Subscribe for content, my anime plan, link in the description. I'll be like you share this video on your Twitter, Facebook. If you have Twitter and Facebook account, all social media, be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking on the like button. Be sure to feel free to leave in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RoniK95. Feel free to join my channel, social media channel. Hit the notifications bell, and keep it otaku for this anime review. And I got another anime review coming up next. Stay tuned for my next anime review. We get to cover another anime movie directed by Osamu Tezuka, once again with my anime review on Unico and the Island of Magic. Stay tuned for my next anime review on Unico and the Island of Magic, because you won't want to miss another anime review.